for a Cause was a cross-curricular project between English and geography where we tackled geographic or global topics about inequality or unjust situations through poetry and competed with each other to present them at a community event.
I learned a lot about public speaking and also outreaching and networking to other people. And I learned a lot about collaboration since this was one of our first major projects that we did.
As a group, we kind of talked about things that were important to us, or causes, places that we wanted to research, things that we knew we would be able to write a good slam poem about because we were passionate about those things. And then as a group, we decided on like a certain topic, and then we got to research that with links and resources that were provided by Ms. Boyd.
It's been about 10 years or so. We've been doing it for quite a long time. When it first started back in the day, our first year we had joined with a junior level U.S. history class, and they had a spoken word project that they were doing with a spoken word slam poet. And we wanted to join in on that project because we saw how dynamic and engaging the project was. And so with that, we just kind of evolved from that. And as those facilitators left our school, we kept the project alive and we turned it into something very unique for our rookies.
The beauty of this event is that so many people get an opportunity to contribute in different ways, right? If you're a baker, you can help with the bake sale. Some people are really good at talking to companies and strangers, so they'll be really good in selling or getting donations. Somebody's really good in design, so they'll really be helpful and instrumental in doing the flyers, the tickets, the t-shirts. So there's lots of different ways for kids to participate. So hopefully you would have seen the poster or a message or receive an email or have someone try to sell you a ticket if you're an audience member. And that doesn't just have to be in Coppell, right? They could be people who come from the nonprofit organization. Joaquin Zihuatanejo has actually attended, board members have attended, lots of people have attended, educators from other schools so they could see what it's like. A lot more than family, and we're talking over 200 people come per night.
When you're a freshman and you're coming into high school, things are already hard enough, right? And trying to find your place and your space is sometimes not the easiest thing to do. And for rookies, we really see that they learn their voice and they build some confidence through this project. And speak in front of a crowd of 300 or 400 people is something that adults can't do very well. But our learners learn how to do that.
I see some of the people who are so quiet at the beginning of the year, and then with this Slamming for a Cause project, they just open up. I don't think we could do Slamming for a Cause without Joaquin Zihuatanejo. Or if we did, we would have a little bit more work to do. He is so passionate. He's so inspiring. He really knows his stuff. I mean, he has a master's in fine arts of just writing poetry. He was a teacher, so he also knows how to work with youth. And he has a way of really connecting with the kids to make them feel comfortable and appreciated in their first writing attempts of their drafts, right? But also he inspires them to go further and to really continue to return to their work, make it better, do bigger gestures, really connect with the audience. So he has been invaluable to the whole process.
Last year, the defensive line was the charity that the learners selected, and it was a local community charity that focused on the efforts to educate teachers and counselors and students about the prevention of suicide. And so the Thomas family was a local family here in Coppell, and the learners, they voted on which charity they wanted. And that was the one that was overwhelmingly the one that got the most votes. So we're really proud to be able to support community initiatives here locally. And last year was a great example of that for the 22-23 school year for Slamming for a Cause.
For a Cause 2023, if you guys could find your seats and we'll be beginning shortly.
Also, please turn off your cell phones while we're listening to everyone because we want to be able to hear. So, thank you.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Slamming for a Cause 2023. We are your MCs. My name is Jackson.
I'm Jace.
I'm Hadley.
And I'm Sabrina, but Jace, what are you wearing?
This is Slamming for a Clause, is it not?
No, it's cause. Look, I know we didn't get to do this, but a little common sense would be nice.
Well, I'm sorry I'm in the holiday spirit and you're not. Sounds like someone's been shopping at our silent auction for Christmas gifts.
Well, it is a great place to get gifts, so y'all should all check it out too.
And I know we're all excited to see the poems, but first let's hear a word from our favorite principal, but unfortunately Mr. Volker's not available right now, so Mr. Smith will have to do.
Thank you, Jace. As new Tech High Coppell's second favorite principal, I would like to welcome you tonight to a wonderful, wonderful evening. This carries on a legacy of things that have happened in the past. Now that I'm thinking about it, it also is a good launching place for my investigation of Mr. Volker and his ties to Jace Ninehammer. So we're going to take care of that tomorrow. But one of the things, if this is the first time that you've been to one of our Slamming for a Cause events, one of the things that I forgot the first time that I came is these kids are 14 and 15 years old and they are raising thousands of dollars for charity their very first year at high school. And whenever so many are trying to just fit in socially and handle all those things, our kids are making a difference in the world, a significant difference in the world. And that is a manifestation of what we're passionate about at New Tech High Coppell. We want the learning to extend beyond just the classroom, but also creating good people, good citizens, people who want to make a difference in the world. And so we're very, very excited to carry on that legacy tonight. I've heard some of our performances, and they are impressive. They are really, really cool. And last, if you would, please, I hope that you have saved some money from your last paycheck, because we have a lot of items on the sides for our silent auction. And so we have quite a few things that I always try to reserve a specific budget for this event, because there are some cool things that you can't get anywhere else, and there's less competition here than outside of here. And so all of that money goes to charity, and our charity is here tonight, and you'll have a chance to hear from them here in just a little bit. So thank you all so much for coming. We're looking forward to getting started, and I'm going to turn it back over to your MCs.
Thank you so much, Mr. Smith. We have a wonderful night planned for everyone, but first we would like to welcome the wonderful people from the Children's Advocacy Center of North Texas. So please welcome Kate Linus.
Hi, everybody. Thank you very much. I cannot believe that you're all here on a school night. Thank you very much for being here on a school night. Children's Advocacy Center for North Texas is unbelievably pleased and thrilled that the freshman class, the class of 2027, has chosen us. By the way, that makes me feel really, really old, because I graduated from college in 1987. So, you know, you guys have not even been around for that long. Children's Advocacy Center is not the place that you want to go, but if for whatever reason it is the place that you have to go, we're going to be there to help you. We help the kids. Our mission is to help with the investigation, the response, the prosecution, the victim services, the healing for our community. I have a couple of things I want to tell you about what we do. We're always the Debbie Downers of any kind of organizational get-together, happy hour, school event, because what we deal with on a regular basis is child abuse. Somebody smacked somebody's hand or they bullied you. This is felony level child abuse. And the fact that the freshman class of the high school chose us as their charity is just phenomenal. Thank you very much for doing that. Our mission is to empower the child abuse victims, their families, and our community. We're the place that the child goes after an outcry. We're the place where they receive all the services, all the healing that they deserve. We're the place that helps them reach their full potential and become a child again. And we're really, really proud to be that place. We're also the place that's the community's voice. And so as the grants manager, I raise a lot of money. I raise a lot of money by saying, hey, you got some money, don't you want to give me some money? Come on, give me some money. I'm really good at that. These kids are excellent at it as well because they want to raise $15,000. And they can do that with all these wonderful silent auction items. By the way, silent auction items that we had some of these same at our gala. It's going to be a much better price here than at our gala, okay? You can come to our gala and give me lots of money, but no, do it here for the kids. We're the place that's very child-friendly, and we do that as a child-friendly place because our average age is 10 years old. We help everybody from newborns, babies, through 17, but our average age child that comes to us is 10 years old. It's not always the nicest idea, but it's a great place to come. And I really like all your colors here because that looks very familiar. Those are our colors, okay? So whoever did your marketing, great job. I'm also supposed to say that you guys are live streaming this. So if you are at home, you also can make a donation. Maybe you didn't buy a ticket to come and see the kids perform, which I'm really looking forward to because I got to hear some of them practice, and this is amazing. But also, if you're at home and you'd like to donate, please do. These kids have done a phenomenal job, and I am extremely proud of them. I do this for a living. They're doing this as they are freshmen and trying to do everything else, like Principal Smith said. And they're thinking about others, and that's what we want. And when you get a little bit older and you want to come and learn more about nonprofits, come see me. We love to have volunteers. And my coworker here is Annie, and she's in charge of the volunteers, so she's making sure that I say that about volunteers. All right. Thank you very much. And who do I hand this off to next?
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for that wonderful speech. And parents, if you're here sitting in the bleachers, you're welcome to come sit in these seats. And just as a reminder, all of the proceeds tonight from the silent auction, bake sale, and donations will be going to the Children's Advocacy Center of North Texas.
Now to kick off our poetry for the evening, let us welcome Miss Beatty with her English 4 Poetry Out Loud Scholarship finalists, Tejas Bhatia, Lily Hess, and Maddie Wells.
Hi, my name is Mrs. Beatty. I am the senior level English teacher here at New Tech High at Coppell. And to start off this evening, we have our 3 senior finalists for the Poetry Out Loud National Competition. Every year, our seniors get to participate in this poetry competition. The first level is the school level, and then whoever wins from the recitations tonight will get to move on to the state level competitions. And then from there, they can move on to the national level competitions to have a chance to earn over $20,000 in scholarships for their college educations. It's a really great program that helps students to really become one with poetry. And here at New Tech High at Coppell, when students get to start their freshman year experiences doing slamming for a cause, it's a really nice way to kind of come full circle for our students. Now, these three seniors that are reciting today didn't get to do slamming for a cause because of COVID, so this is especially an honor for them that they get to, in a way, be part of slamming for a cause because they couldn't during that time. So they're gonna come up here tonight and they're gonna recite their prepared poems. They have 2 poems that they will be reciting. Please wait to hold your applauses or snaps until after they recite both poems, and then we will have the remaining students go. With that being said, we're gonna go ahead and start with our first finalist, which is Tejas Bhatia.
Hello, can you hear me? Okay, cool, you can hear me. Hi everyone, good evening. My name is Tejas Bhatia. I'm a senior here at New Tech High Coppell, and the first poem I'm reciting for you tonight is called To the Oppressors by Polly Murray. Now you are strong, and we are but grapes, aching with ripeness. Crush us, squeeze from us all the brave life contained in these full skins, but ours is a subtle strength, potent with centuries of yearning of being kegged and put away in dark, forgotten places. We shall endure to steal your senses in that lonely twilight of your winter's grief. The second poem that I'll be performing for you tonight is called Filter by Suma Subramaniam. Sorry. I come from a country so far away that you may have visited only in your dreams. My face does not bear the pale color of my palms. I don't speak your language at home. I don't even sound like you. If you come to my house, you'll see my family. My mother in a sari, my father wearing a sacred thread around his body, and me eating a plate of spicy biryani instead of a burger or pizza at the dinner table. If you, for a moment, shed your filter, you'll also see my pockets filled with Tootsie Rolls, waiting to be shared with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Tejas. Our next finalist is Lily Hess.
Hello. The first poem I will be reciting is The End Game of Bloom by Deborah Landau. Has it turned out we've wasted our time? We've wasted our time. Our magnificent bodies on the dissecting table, our day after tomorrow, are what to do now. The stink of us, so undignified, the end game of bloom. We will lose the sun, struck and disassembled lightly down and crawling like a worm. The earth, it is a banquet, and laid on its table, we, puncture in the wound room, crude and obvious. The raving lunatics, they are upon us, but we are raving too. Thank you. The second poem I will be reciting is In the Basement of the Goodwill Store by Ted Kunzer. In musty light, in the thin brown air of damp carpet, doll heads, and rust, beneath long rows of sharp footfalls like nails in a lid, an old man stands trying on glasses, lifting each pair from the box like a glittering fish and holding it up to the light of a dirty bowl. Near him, a heap of enameled pans as white as skulls looms in the catacomb shadows, and toilets with dry red throats cough up bouquets of curtain rods. You've seen him somewhere before. He's wearing the green leisure suit you threw out with the garbage, and the Christmas tie you hated, and the ventilated wingtip shoes you found in your father's closet and wore as a joke, and the glasses which finally fit him, through which he looks to see you looking back, two mirrors which flash and glance, are those through which one day you too will look down over the years, when you have grown old and thin and no longer particular, and the things you once thought you were rid of forever have taken you back into their arms. Thank you.
And then our final finalist for the evening is going to be Maddie Wells.
Hello, my name is Maddie Wells, and the first poem I will be reciting is called Wherever I'm At, That Land is Chicago by Jose Olivares. Forgive my geography. It's true, I'm obsessed with maps, with flags. A Starbucks on the block means migration. Any restaurant with bulletproof glass is a homecoming. Underneath my gym shoes is a trail of salt. That last sentence is a test. Does the poet mean A, grief, B, winter, C, diaspora, D, this is the wrong question, E, all of the above? I'm always out south of somewhere. I know the sun rises in Lake Michigan and sets out west. I got primos I've never met. There's a word for that. Where did they go? All the steel mills shuttering up like conquered forts. One day, there will be an urban tour through South Chicago. Picture all the soy cappuccino sipping cool kids wearing Chicago over everything branded hoodies, taking selfies in front of machines that once breathed fire, pretending the bones are the real thing. The second poem I'll be reciting is called Life Cycle of Common Man by Howard Nemerov. Roughly figured, this man of moderate habits, this average consumer of the middle class consumed, in the course of his average lifespan, just under 500,000 cigarettes, 4,000 fifths of gin, and almost a quarter as much vermouth. He drank maybe 100,000 cups of coffee, and counting his parents' share, it cost something like $500,000 to put him through life. How many beasts died to provide him with meat, belt, and shoes cannot be certainly said. But anyhow, it is in this way that a man travels through time, leaving behind him a lengthening trail of empty bottles and bones, of broken shoes, frayed collars, and worn out or outgrown diapers and dinner jackets, silk ties and slickers. Given the energy and security thus achieved, he did what? The usual things, of course. The eating, dreaming, drinking, and begetting. And he worked for the money which was to pay for the eating, etc., which was necessary if he were to go on working for the money, etc. But chiefly, he talked. As the bottles and bones accumulated behind him, the words proceeded steadily from the front of his face as he advanced into the silence and made it verbal. Who can tally the tale of his words? A lifetime would barely suffice for their repetition. If you merely printed all his commas, the result would be a very large volume, and the number of times he said, "Thank you," or "Very little sugar, please," would stagger the imagination. There were also witticisms, platitudes, and statements beginning, "It seems to me," or "As I always say." Consider the courage and all that. And behold the man walking into deep silence with the ectoplastic cartoon's balloon of speech proceeding steadily out of the front of his face, words borne along on the breath, which is his spirit, telling the numberless tale of his untold word, which makes the world his apple and forces him to eat. Thank you.
Those were our 3 finalists for the Senior Poetry Out Loud competition. Later in the evening, we will announce who our winner is and who gets to represent New Tech High Coppell at state. Thank you.
Wow, that was incredible. And it got me thinking, Sabrina, do you realize that it's already been 1 year since we did this?
You know, I was just thinking the same thing. It's crazy to think that just a year ago we were standing here and performing our own poems. Maybe I should just fail all my classes so I can do it again.
Like you aren't already failing your classes. We get that y'all get to be a part of slamming for a cause, but I've actually never done it, and this is my first year ever at the event. So I'm extremely excited to see all the beautiful art and poems that the rookies have been able to put on this year.
I agree, Jackson. I've been the past 2 years, and every year it just gets better and better. I can't wait to see what the rookies have put together this year.
Okay, one more thing before we get started. We want to make sure everyone knows the etiquette for a poetry slam.
Yeah, we wouldn't want anyone acting inappropriately. So first, snaps. It's best to snap when something interesting or important has been said during a poem, but afterwards feel free to clap as much as you'd like.
And I understand some of you may want to get sassy with your snapping, but honey, we do not have any time for that.
Also, don't be afraid to ooh or ah at shocking or jaw-dropping points in the poems. Especially when the poem goes silent, think of it as a mic drop.
Please don't drop your mic. Please don't drop your mic. Please don't drop your mic.
What was that?
Oh, nothing.
Well, let's practice. How to snap. We'll start and you guys follow, okay?
Amazing job. Y'all could be professionals, honestly, truly. Now we have to practice our oohing and awing. Jackson, do you want to model for us?
Of course.
Ooh, ah. That was absolutely perfect. Now, of course, we won't be oohing and awing at models, but it's the same kind of practice.
Indeed. Well, now that all of our etiquette is done, we want to experience what we've all come here to do. Let's get it with the poetry.
That's what I'm talking about. And remember, everybody, tonight we're here to celebrate the poets and the victims of these poems, set aside from our personal beliefs. Now let's give a warm welcome to our first poem of the evening, Scars, Cambodian Acid Attacks by Anika, Rade, and Dishi.
In the mirror, all I see is scars. Stigmatized scars running down my face. All I feel is to turn away. I need to look away. Look away from my half-melted face. When did this all start? When does this all end? Why does this endless plight never cease to end? Why do I, the scapegoat, have to feel guilty? Why do I have to suffer for the childish revenge of another?
When I walk down the crowded streets, all I feel are stares, eyes that scream guilty, that think that I'm some mistress, a cheater, a homewrecker. To them, these scars symbolize justice, symbolize guilt of my own, thought of as a justified form of reprisal when nothing was my fault.
My name is Lee Rani, living in Kampong Cham, Cambodian province of Phnom Penh. I was walking home from work at the garment factory when suddenly, splash! Acid poured onto me as a form of retaliation, face dripping,
flesh melting, future crumbling.
I never knew how much one spill could ruin my life. I never knew someone's true colors could be this shallow. He burnt me alive when I had done nothing wrong.
I am Tat Marina, a 16-year-old acid attack victim, attacked while on Olympic market in Phnom Penh. Yanked, kicked, beaten, kneed, and doused with acid. More than 1 liter of nitric acid. Maimed for life. I look around, no one. Not a single someone came to help me. I cry, scream, yell, call, yet no one. Not a single someone came to help me. They attacked me when I did nothing wrong.
My name is Mung Sway Mom, stall vendor in Seoul, Cambodia. I was working when a vendor poured acid on me and my 2-year-old daughter. I hurried to the hospital with acid doused on my face. Inequity for how we looked like my pleas for help were rejected, and we had no money in our pockets. What do we do now? What would you do now?
The government's empty words told the acid victim that the treatment was free, but the words of the law were hidden in their political shadows, the truth shackled from peering eyes. No one knows, and no one cares. They rather blame the ones that try to speak up, blame the ones that tell that they're the wrongdoings, that it was wrong, while it was the victim's fault, and casually move on.
Where are our rights? The right to be born free and equal, to be free from acid perpetrators.
Where is our right to life? To live in freedom and safety, to be able to feel safe from acid violence.
Why is that these human rights are followed everywhere, yet some are never enforced here?
There are no statistics on how many of us are the victims of acid attacks, no record of how many of us are suffering. Why? Because the government doesn't care. Why? Because it doesn't bother them on what action to call. Why? Because there's no ending to the whole cycle. Keeps going on and on and on.
All we wish was for the biased government to wear a protest of equity.
For the government to take us seriously.
For the perpetrators to be punished for dehumanizing us for life.
For people to believe we did nothing wrong.
For people to hear our cries, our voice.
For people to help us.
For our words to disappear into thin air. Just because it happens doesn't mean so.
Spread the words through your voices.
One small sentence can make a huge difference in someone's life. Let's make the change.
Before they lose hope and give up forever.
What an amazing way to kick off our slam poems this year. Beautifully performed and beautifully written.
I agree, Jace. Absolutely incredible. You know, how about we just roll with the punches and introduce our next poem? Please give a warm welcome to The War in the Dark Philippines War on Drugs by Bailey, Mahule, and Elliott.
The Philippines, a country of happiness, right? 7,000 islands, delicious cuisines, vibrant festivals, stunning beaches, rich history, and yet a war on drugs. In the haze of policies and politics, a war persists, a battle waged in our streets, homes, alleys, and hearts. Our lives entwined, searching for light, except it never comes, and it doesn't seem like it will.
Our country's nationalism eroding away, our homes left in despair, terrorism forced upon us by our police, laws made to exterminate. Sorry. Remorse is a distant concept to our executioners. Men, women, and children beaten, bloodied, and battered. The Emerald Islands run red with the blood of civilians. My family put down like sick dogs by the first responders, weeping in the arms of the dead, their bodies mangled and unrecognizable. Our protectors betrayed us and left us for dead in a wasteland of their creation. The gyms of the East reduced to the Isle of Fears.
I'm Paquito Mejos, an innocent man, a friend, a father, a fiance, a human, who had to watch his family die all because of an accusation. As gunshots rang out, I stayed silent. It was the only thing I could do. I'm shackled and imprisoned. I have no strength. I'm a puppet for an overpowering regime.
I am Mackie Lumingtad, a 12-year-old boy on a mission to help find a thief. My family will soon find my maimed body, a hole in my head, and 22 stab wounds in my chest. My killer exploited my naivety, and he will never be brought to justice. For every day that my killer lives, my corpse continues to rot.
I'm JP LaRosa. I was shot six times while walking to my local cafe. I was shot because the police thought I was someone else. I was innocent, I was free, and now I'm dead. They classified me as collateral and went on with their day.
I am Rodrigo Duterte, the former president and leader. Tyrannical dictator? That can't be true. 27,000 deaths? It was required for our future. Planted drugs and guns? False accusations. Children dead? That wasn't us. It was definitely those drug addicts.
Why?
Why not? We're on the path to cleanse our nation. As I've said before, Hitler massacred 3 million Jews. Now, there are 3 million drug addicts. I'd be happy to slaughter them all. If Germany had Hitler, the Philippines would have me. They call me authoritarian, and my actions genocidal. I call them necessary.
No, it was more than that. It was over 6 million Jews, and even if that was the case, history shouldn't repeat itself. This is a different time, a different war, a different strife. President Duterte, his ideals remain in power. His successor, President Marcos, refuses to face the sins of his predecessor. Our protests stomped out like a cigarette burnt to the bud.
About 10 people die every day from the war on drugs.
Why?
There have been over 7,000 deaths since July, and every day families are put to death.
For what?
The Philippines were one of the first of 51 members to join the United Nations.
So why?
Why have they violated almost half of the human rights that they were sworn to protect? And why is it accepted that they are so blatantly allowed to violate our rights? We need to end this injustice.
By bringing attention to these atrocities and by gaining assistance from others, maybe,
just maybe,
we can make the change and give them the light they've been searching for.
Wow, it's just astonishing how well these poems are written and performed. Actually, you know, Jace, I never got to see your poem. How was that?
Hey, Jackson, I think we're actually out of time to talk about that right now. Let's just move on to our next poem. Censored Rwandan Censorship Laws by Arjun, Suraj, and Keelan.
Subbing in for Dylan.
Rwanda. Hills and mountains so majestic and beautiful, home of the mountain gorillas, but they're getting poached and hunted, causing them to go extinct. The same thing is happening to people. YouTubers and writers that just want to spread knowledge about Rwanda, about the food crisis, poverty, and government corruption, are getting punished, persecuted, put in prison, and thwarted. Why this inequity and tyranny, you ask? They are bad-mouthing the government.
Censored.
Bloggers write about these acts of injustice towards victims.
But they stopped posting. Not a word from them since they've been taken by authorities.
14 gone after speaking against Rwanda's abusement on innocents.
Politicians that actually try to change things
disappeared.
Protesters arrested without a trial
executed. Online videos of people spreading the truth censored.
Rwanda is a regime, a dictatorship. YouTube, an online platform for creators. It is a way to express yourself. I am Yvonne Itamanje, a 42-year-old mother of 4 children accused of calling Rwanda a dictatorship. Where is the equality? A polarization has taken place. Is the government corrupt? 15 years behind bars, a $2,000 fine.
Censored. My name is Paul Kagame. I'm the leader of Rwanda since the genocide. The same genocide that killed 800,000 people. I ruled for 30 years and I'll keep on ruling. I don't care about what the world says about what I did to those people. What the world thinks is not my problem. It's never my problem. Censored.
Innocent Bahati, a poet and writer who is well known on his expressions about Rwandan issues, went missing. a word that means lost but not found, a word to describe innocent Bahadi.
But why?
Why is he missing? Why doesn't anyone know where he is, what he's doing, if he's in internment, if he's even alive?
Censored.
Rwanda, poor living conditions, homeless people line the streets, ripped and baggy clothing on skinny children, begging for a scrap of food and a little bit of money. Drinking unclean water, expensive and inflated food prices. All these push factors. Rwanda in a plight. Censored.
We love our patriotism, our ethnicity, our country. Bring us this unison together. Together, we protest. They call this peace? No, this is murder. Justifying their killings. Eliminating anyone who poses a threat to bring justice. Censored.
Why isn't this being heard?
Do they not care?
How much longer until we can stop living in fear?
We need help.
Why does our government feel like they have to do this?
Stop taking our people for speaking out against your flaws.
What will it take to see my beloved country treat us with equality again?
Like and subscribe. Censored.
Wow. Words cannot describe the amazing poems our rookies have put together this year.
Words can also not describe the amount of money you spent at the silent auction. Like, seriously, do you even have enough money in your bank account for that?
Well, that's what loans are for.
Do you even actually know what a loan is? Actually, you know what? Never mind. Our next poem is When Will It End? Russian Invasion of Ukraine by Caitlin, Rose, and Janini.
War takes a toll.
Tragedy strikes Ukraine.
Russian soldiers end lives. Families of quaint, quiet towns.
Their bodies left bloodied and maimed.
Homes turned to battlegrounds.
Families separated in order to flee.
A father choosing to fight for freedom.
A mother protecting her daughter.
A child forced to flee her own home.
When will it end?
I am Andriy Mishenko. I chose to fight. I fight for lives lost in countless genocides. I fight a war raging for over
9 years.
No matter how blackened and rubbled it may be, I fight for lives lost to a selfish cause. I'm forced to leave my family. I send texts to assure my security. But will I truly be safe in the face of persecution?
When will it end? My name is Olga Ternova. I flee to Germany with my daughter, renaming my status of citizen to refugee, leaving what was once lush forests and quiet towns, leaving my love behind so he may fight. He sends me messages every day, the emoji of a heart to ensure his safety. And I wait each day as this plight continues, a war of inequity unyielding. When will it end?
My name is Sasha Mishenko Ternova. I never wanted to leave my home, leaving my friends and family behind, leaving my father to be a pawn in their war. I fear for my father's life, and I fear for my mother's heart. Why must such war kill those close? Why must innocents die in the name of political strife?
When will it end?
I remember that spring morning in Mariupol. Streets covered in the bodies of my people, hearing shot after shot as gunfire gets closer. A man falls, a friend, a comrade, all gone. Even closer. The smugness of their voices can be heard clearly now. Tuning out the banging, the screams. Right now, I must survive, or what else will they have?
Bang!
I was a soldier, a husband, a father. I was Andriy Mishenko, and now I am dead.
When will it end? I wake up late one morning to nothing, no messages, no calls, no heart. Confusion turns to realization, but it couldn't be true, so I wait. And I wait as the clock ticks as time passes, and I scream and I cry and I sob. My soul breaks and my heart shatters like a mirror. I lock myself away to the bathroom, hiding my anguish with the cold tile floor, wishing this could all just be a dream. When will it end?
I hear the slamming of the bathroom door. She soon realizes what this must mean. And I wonder to myself, why? Why must she hide herself? Why must my father and so many others be dead? Why must innocents die in the... Why must my father and so many others be dead? Why must the war keep going on?
When will it end? Watching the news of the conflict in my home.
A war that has lasted over
3,550
days. A war that has caused over
27,450
civilian casualties.
All because of Putin's false claims.
saying we are the ones who caused genocide.
A lie told to protect the people.
All for a place not rightfully theirs.
The place I learned to walk, to speak, to feel.
The place filled with greenery and lively streets.
Reduced to withered rubble, the cries of many.
The sounds of bodies hitting the cold ground.
Like tossing aside crumpled papers.
When will it end?
What is the point of this war?
A selfish conflict, a pitfall for economy.
A tantrum that exterminates thousands.
Men shooting in the name of tyranny.
Caring for battle rather than those who bleed.
Persecution that turns into so much death.
Hindering the lives of friends and families. Civilians dead.
Soldiers dead.
Fathers dead.
And all the people affected will wonder,
when will it end?
What an amazing performance by Caitlin, Rose, and Ginny.
Yeah, just what an amazing performance by Caitlin, Rose, and Ginny.
So you just repeated my line exactly.
I don't think I did. Well, anyways, let's give a warm welcome to our next group, Treinta Años, 30 Years, Guatemalan Oppression of Journalists, by Anisha, Ratisha, and Jay.
So that was also my line too.
Standing in front of the crowd, posing in front of the podium, facing the coastlines from the Pacific to the Western Highlands and the volcanoes, speaking to the whole country, all 17 million citizens, one filled with hopeful civilians, those who dream of new life, one filled with freedom and joy for them and the people they love. You say, I will take good care of this country.
This country, where there is more poverty than there is not, where the press can say almost nothing without persecution. This country, where the democracy is hanging on by a thread, where the citizens cannot trust their leaders. This country, where many don't even have a clean water source, where most of the workforce doesn't have an adequate education. This country, where people are constantly protesting the government, the one that is slowly becoming an authoritarian regime.
Do those people wonder, why are there constant dissents from the mouths of people around them? New issues being spoken of constantly, yet more than 149 acts of aggression against journalists, and not a single soul to help. But who can they trust to solve a problem they've been shackled with for a generation? There are even those leaving who can't bear seeing their lives hindered from the whims of politicians, with the never-ending charges, prices, working in an office or the forest or the mines. This is their future. Do they ask, what are we to do with our lives? Maybe we just keep living, but don't know why our land and people are falling apart.
Jose Ruben Zamora, a man who openly vouched against corruption in politics, was arrested on July 29th of 2023, along with 9 other journalists in his same newspaper. El Periódico, the major newspaper he owned, was also shut down by the tyranny of Guatemala's government. The last words the company said before this incident were, "Nos transformamos para resistir. Han sido 30 años de lucha contra la corrupción y la impunidad."
We transform ourselves to resist. It has been 30 years of fighting against corruption and impunity.
Anastasia Mejia, an indigenous journalist who only broadcast about anti-corruption protests against the local government in Hoyaba, was arrested for aggravated attack, sedition, arson, and aggravated robbery on September 20th of 2020, with the same charges that the protesters received. She fulfilled her task of informing the public, and what does she get in return? Arrested, with the deep wound of polarization continuing to bleed out to stain the history of Guatemala's freedom. The truth is that anyone with the power to speak against the bias of the government are just scapegoats for the law, the same law we're all supposed to be equal before.
You won't provide them with the resources they need, and then you accuse them of false news. They can't report on anything, not even a global pandemic, without receiving harassment from people meant to protect them. They're forced to forfeit their jobs, their identities, when they aren't protecting their people, won't investigate harassment and assaults against reporters.
Not even the majority of numerous killings of journalists.
This government only fuels stigma against these people while dehumanizing their lives and reducing them into lines on a newspaper.
What is the government even for?
What is the point?
Imagine if the government played its part faithfully, gave aid to the impoverished in their country, showed altruism to everyone, and cared about the crimes and violence against their people. the citizens will surely thrive. Imagine how the lives of journalists would feel much more free if the government did its work correctly. Guatemala would see a much-needed change that waited for so long. But no, not even the president can show any empathy. This is the precedent that they're setting for the future. A government that doesn't play the role that was bestowed upon them correctly. If their human rights are protected by law, then why is their democracy still so flawed?
Have they been aware of people's trust slowly rotting like their land left to die?
Barren with nothing left except for the waste that brought it to this state.
Maybe someone tries something new.
Something that will represent the voices of people in a way others couldn't.
But all they're left with is assaults from officials, unsolved inequity, and prison.
Nos transformamos para resistir. Han sido 30 años de lucha contra la corrupción y la impunidad.
We transform ourselves to resist. It has been 30 years of fighting against corruption and impunity, they said.
But they have been struck down.
I'm honestly baffled at this year's poems. Absolutely phenomenal.
Dude, stop stealing my lines.
But your lines are so much better than mine. What am I supposed to do? Say my lines?
Yes, exactly. Please welcome our final act before our first intermission, The Terror, 1921 Tulsa Race Massacre by Amvi, Lauren, and Aria.
In the heart of Tulsa, red brick buildings cradle the cobbled streets of Greenwood.
A bold show of patriotism, seen with both the stars and stripes and the bright blue hue of the Oklahoma flag dotted on every doorstep.
Though the sun beats down and the summers are long, the Greenwood air still invites the cool breeze of hope.
However, this hope didn't last for long.
The terror that lasted for over a night.
Fire pierced through as faceless men with American flags and torches set a once vibrant town ablaze. Terrorism tastefully rebranded as the new normal.
The terror that lasted for over a night.
Families clinging to one another for salvation as they rush out of what was once their home, now ripped apart by flames of hatred.
1,256 houses burnt and more than 30 city blocks burnt to the ground. The death toll? Unknown. The vast, prosperous neighborhood in Tulsa was gone. Everything reduced to ashes.
Smoke engulfing and swallowing people whole, suffocating their silent screams, a quality only given through the uncompromising, clear-cut lens of death.
The terror that lasted for over a night.
The agonizing cries of lost children echoed, ash covering their dark skin as they realized the horrors surrounding them. Gunshots ring out as bullets pierce through innocent souls.
Bang! A family reduced to ash and dust, only living on a memory. Maybe, because anyone left to remember it is dead, with their body buried in rubble.
And those who did survive never got reparations. They were overlooked by the government and media, with only 2 survivors remaining 100 years later.
The terror that lasted for over a night.
Your ethnicity, the color of your skin, your family are all reason to be persecuted.
They wanted our extermination. They thought we were beneath them, the scum of the earth, that we did not deserve to tread on the land that they walked on.
This belief is their lifeblood, as if our flourishing world was eating into theirs. We continue to be dehumanized, devalued, and worse, we never got justice.
The terror that lasted for
over a night.
As time multiplied, so did the numbers of the ones who hated us so. What started with 5 men turned into 25, 55, then 300. We held on as hard as we could.
We prayed, hid, and embraced as the moments passed by.
Tick, tock.
Until we emerged from our smoldering cocoon, not like the beautiful butterfly, but like the injured moth. Our entire neighborhood, homes, families, businesses, the world we knew, the life we knew, it was all gone.
What had we done to deserve this? Be born in a world that is so uneasy with us despite our shared humanity?
Acceptance was a locked door, and our race was the key we were never given the chance to use. We're all born free, some of us. Some don't believe it. Why don't we get a choice? All we wanted was to stop one of our brothers from being falsely accused. Yet we are the ones who suffer the terror that lasted for over a night.
I just want back my hope, family, happiness that was so violently ripped away by
the terror that lasted for over a night.
What an amazing poem and an amazing way to end off of our first session.
We'll now begin our first intermission, which will be about 20 minutes. We kindly ask that everyone leaves their seats and roams around for a little bit.
Our rookies have put a ton of effort into our silent auction and bake sale.
Swimming for a Cause was a cross-curricular project between English and geography where we tackled geographic or global topics about inequality or unjust situations through poetry and competed with each other to present them at a community event.
I learned a lot about public speaking and also outreaching and networking to other people. And I learned a lot about collaboration since this was one of our first major projects that we did.
As a group, we kind of talked about things that were important to us, or causes, places that we wanted to research, things that we knew we would be able to write a good slam poem about because we were passionate about those things. And then as a group, we decided on like a certain topic, and then we got to research that with links and resources that were provided by Ms. Boyd.
It's been about 10 years or so. We've been doing it for quite a long time. When it first started back in the day, our first year we had joined with a junior level U.S. history class, and they had a spoken word project that they were doing with a spoken word slam poet. And we wanted to join in on that project because we saw how dynamic and engaging the project was. And so with that, we just kind of evolved from that. And as those facilitators left our school, we kept the project alive and we turned it into something very unique for our rookies.
The beauty of this event is that so many people get an opportunity to contribute in different ways, right? If you're a baker, you can help with the bake sale. Some people are really good at talking to companies and strangers, so they'll be really good in selling or getting donations. Somebody's really good in design, so they'll really be helpful and instrumental in doing the flyers, the tickets, the t-shirts. So there's lots of different ways for kids to participate. So hopefully you would have seen the poster or a message or receive an email or have someone try to sell you a ticket if you're an audience member. And that doesn't just have to be in Coppell, right? They could be people who come from the nonprofit organization. Joaquin Zihuatanejo has actually attended, board members have attended, lots of people have attended, educators from other schools so they could see what it's like. And a lot more than family, and we're talking over 200 people come per night.
When you're a freshman and you're coming into high school, things are already hard enough, right? And trying to find your place in your space is sometimes not the easiest thing to do. And for rookies, we really see that they learn their voice and they build some confidence through this project. And speak in front of a crowd of 300 or 400 people is something that adults can't do very well. But our learners learn how to do that.
I see some of the people who are so quiet at the beginning of the year, and then with this Slamming for a Cause project, they just open up. I don't think we could do Slamming for a Cause without Joaquin Zihuatanejo. Or if we did, we would have a little bit more work to do. He is so passionate. He's so inspiring. He really knows his stuff. I mean, he has a master's in fine arts of just writing poetry. He was a teacher, so he also knows how to work with youth. And he has a way of really connecting with the kids to make them feel comfortable and appreciated in their first writing attempts of their drafts, right? But also he inspires them to go further and to really continue to return to their work, make it better, do bigger gestures, really connect with the audience. So he has been invaluable to the whole process.
Last year, the defensive line was the charity that the learners selected, and it was a local community charity that focused on the efforts to educate teachers and counselors and students about the prevention of suicide. And so the Thomas family was a local family here in Coppell, and the learners, they voted on which charity they wanted, and that was the one that was overwhelmingly the one that got the most votes. So we're really proud to be able to support community initiatives here locally, and last year was a great example of that for the 22-23 school year for Slamming for a Cause.
for a Cause was a cross-curricular project between English and geography where we tackled geographic or global topics about inequality or unjust situations through poetry and competed with each other to present them at a community event.
I learned a lot about public speaking and also outreaching and networking to other people. And I learned a lot about collaboration since this was one of our first major projects that we did.
As a group, we kind of talked about things that were important to us, or causes, places that we wanted to research, things that we knew we would be able to write a good slam poem about because we were passionate about those things. And then as a group, we decided on like a certain topic, and then we got to research that with links and resources that were provided by Ms. Boyd.
It's been about 10 years or so. We've been doing it for quite a long time. When it first started back in the day, our first year we had joined with a junior level U.S. history class, and they had a spoken word project that they were doing with a spoken word slam poet. And we wanted to join in on that project because we saw how dynamic and engaging the project was. And so with that, we just kind of evolved from that. And as those facilitators left our school, we kept the project alive and we turned it into something very unique for our rookies.
The beauty of this event is that so many people get an opportunity to contribute in different ways, right? If you're a baker, you can help with the bake sale. Some people are really good at talking to companies and strangers, so they'll be really good in selling or getting donations. Somebody's really good in design, so they'll really be helpful and instrumental in doing the flyers, the tickets, the t-shirts. So there's lots of different ways for kids to participate. So hopefully you would have seen the poster or a message or receive an email or have someone try to sell you a ticket if you're an audience member. And that doesn't just have to be in Coppell, right? They could be people who come from the nonprofit organization. Joaquin Zihuatanejo has actually attended, board members have attended, lots of people have attended, educators from other schools so they could see what it's like. And a lot more than family, and we're talking over 200 people come per night.
When you're a freshman and you're coming into high school, things are already hard enough, right? And trying to find your place in your space is sometimes not the easiest thing to do. And for rookies, we really see that they learn their voice and they build some confidence through this project. And speak in front of a crowd of 300 or 400 people is something that adults can't do very well. But our learners learn how to do that.
I see some of the people who are so quiet at the beginning of the year, and then with this Slamming for a Cause project, they just open up. I don't think we could do Slamming for a Cause without Joaquin Zihuatanejo. Or if we did, we would have a little bit more work to do. He is so passionate. He's so inspiring. He really knows his stuff. I mean, he has a master's in fine arts of just writing poetry. He was a teacher, so he also knows how to work with youth. And he has a way of really connecting with the kids to make them feel comfortable and appreciated in their first writing attempts of their drafts, right? But also he inspires them to go further and to really continue to return to their work, make it better, do bigger gestures, really connect with the audience. So he has been invaluable to the whole process.
Last year, the defensive line was the charity that the learners selected, and it was a local community charity that focused on the efforts to educate teachers and counselors and students about the prevention of suicide. And so the Thomas family was a local family here in Coppell, and the learners, they voted on which charity they wanted, and that was the one that was overwhelmingly the one that got the most votes. So we're really proud to be able to support community initiatives here locally, and last year was a great example of that for the 22-23 school year for Slamming for a Cause.
for a Cause was a cross-curricular project between English and geography where we tackled geographic or global topics about inequality or unjust situations through poetry and competed with each other to present them at a community event.
I learned a lot about public speaking and also outreaching and networking to other people. And I learned a lot about collaboration since this was one of our first major projects that we did.
As a group, we kind of talked about things that were important to us, or causes, places that we wanted to research, things that we knew we would be able to write a good slam poem about because we were passionate about those things. And then as a group, we decided on like a certain topic, and then we got to research that with links and resources that were provided by Ms. Boyd.
It's been about 10 years or so. We've been doing it for quite a long time. When it first started back in the day, our first year we had joined with a junior level U.S. history class, and they had a spoken word project that they were doing with a spoken word slam poet. And we wanted to join in on that project because we saw how dynamic and engaging the project was. And so with that, we just kind of evolved from that. And as those facilitators left our school, we kept the project alive and we turned it into something very unique for our rookies.
The beauty of this event is that so many people get an opportunity to contribute in different ways, right? If you're a baker, you can help with the bake sale. Some people are really good at talking to companies and strangers, so they'll be really good in selling or getting donations. Somebody's really good in design, so they'll really be helpful and instrumental in doing the flyers, the tickets, the t-shirts. So there's lots of different ways for kids to participate. So hopefully you would have seen the poster or a message or receive an email or have someone try to sell you a ticket if you're an audience member. And that doesn't just have to be in Coppell, right? They could be people who come from the nonprofit organization. Joaquin Zihuatanejo has actually attended, board members have attended, lots of people have attended, educators from other schools so they could see what it's like. A lot more than family, and we're talking over 200 people come per night.
When you're a freshman and you're coming into high school, things are already hard enough, right? And trying to find your place in your space is sometimes not the easiest thing to do. And for rookies, we really see that they learn their voice and they build some confidence through this project. And speak in front of a crowd of 300 or 400 people is something that adults can't do very well. But our learners learn how to do that.
I see some of the people who are so quiet at the beginning of the year, and then with this Slamming for a Cause project, they just open up. I don't think we could do Slamming for a Cause without Joaquin Zihuatanejo. Or if we did, we would have a little bit more work to do. He is so passionate. He's so inspiring. He really knows his stuff. I mean, he has a master's in fine arts of just writing poetry. He was a teacher, so he also knows how to work with youth. And he has a way of really connecting with the kids to make them feel comfortable and appreciated in their first writing attempts of their drafts, right? But also he inspires them to go further and to really continue to return to their work, make it better, do bigger gestures, really connect with the audience. So he has been invaluable to the whole process.
Last year, the defensive line was the charity that the learners selected, and it was a local community charity that focused on the efforts to educate teachers and counselors and students about the prevention of suicide. And so the Thomas family was a local family here in Coppell.
Hello and welcome back to Slamming for a Cause 23. We hope you had a chance to bid on some of our fun and exciting products over the intermission, but don't worry if you didn't have a chance. We'll have another intermission where you can bid. But that is when bids will close at the end of the second session, so be ready to get your bids in.
That's right, Sabrina. This is your chance to acquire books, gift cards, and signed merchandise, so you better move fast because I might be walking away with some stuff tonight. You know, gotta get on top of my Christmas shopping.
What are you getting me?
Yeah, so please welcome Lena, Abigail, and Luca with Come to Patia.
Come to Pattaya, a beautiful, quiet city on the edge of Thailand. Beaches masking the dark corners, alleyways that contain bustling acts of trafficking, bars and parlors that conceal the young women dehumanized for someone else's appeal.
A sin city,
they call it.
I am the crying child longing for freedom. Every day I become an emptier husk of a person. His insults and beatings make my shackles link by link. I sold my body for others to toy with. No! He has sold my body for other people's pleasure, while whispering sweet nothings that the money would benefit. I'm tangled in this web of exploitation. My hopes are deeply hindered. They are distant dreams rather than reality. If I broke away, would anyone even care?
They tell you to come to Pattaya.
Look what you've done.
Come to Pattaya for the resorts, cuisine, attractions. The pull factors are misleading. They mitigate the contents of the city, ridding it of the appalling acts of the nightlife. What they neglect to say is that maltreatment and molest is the pulsating nightlife. Why? In a city full of gorgeous attractions. Why?
The gavel pounds the podium. Cheers echo through the room.
Law passed to prevent sex trafficking,
the headlines read. But the attempt to thwart is unsuccessful. Laws go unenforced and help never comes. Police look the other way, knowing what they do is wrong. The plight endures.
People keep coming to Pattaya.
The greed I feel overtakes me. It is the only thing I've known. Doing anything to get what I want, with no reparations. They ask,
what about them? How do they feel?
The victims don't care. They enjoy the torture that is gnawing away at them.
I'm so scared. He's out of the house. In the clear, I run to the phone. I feel like I'm running in slow motion. Every second spent dialing is an opportunity for him to catch me. Tears run down my face as I pray for the police to pick up. In a few fleeting breaths, I explain my anguish.
More tears.
They actually stopped to listen. They arrived to help.
More tears.
I'm a refugee escaping the prison of my own home.
Over 600,000 victims in 1 year.
600,000!
31% of tourists visit Thailand to fund the $6.4 billion industry.
To exploit.
To manipulate.
To assault.
Targeting women and children of all different ethnic backgrounds. One's not even strong enough to fight back. Taken for the economic gain of others. Others that do not care for them.
UN human rights deemed unimportant. Articles
4,
5, 13,
24.
The freedom from slavery, from torture, the right to immigrate, and the right to rest. All forfeited for the promise of money, but ending up with no profit. Articles
4,
5, 13, 24. Reduced to mere words on a page.
Living with the fear of being trafficked anytime. Scared of all people anywhere.
Too many stories, too many testimonies, 600,000 of them! Aren't you scared for your children? Aren't you scared for us? Making new laws only goes so far. Making loud noise only draws so much attention. People can escape, but the cycle will continue on. Enforcing change is how we cause mighty quakes in the foundation. It is in the hands of the people to force completion, in the hands of the people to protest. We, the people, have the power. The power to bring awareness for action to be taken. Pattaya has a chance.
Well, that was a great way to start our second session. Hadley, do you know what else is great?
Me?
No.
our bake sale supporting the Children's Advocacy Center of North Texas. Remember?
Oh, right. Now performing a manual by Tiem, Liam, and Delaney with substitute reading by Ben.
Green, yellow, red. In the middle, circled in blue, a yellow star, waving as a flag.
A flag of a land uncolonized.
In the Horn of Africa, the land of origins, of coffee and civilization, Ethiopia. 1,000 people dead.
Protesters killed during 2015 and 2016. Shouts disappear.
Protests?
Silence. Security forces get away with it.
No investigation. Nothing from the government.
No accountability.
No tribunal. No justice. The cold, unbearing arms of death take the high ground, leaving a kid to burn.
Hands tied behind his back.
His mother cries out.
We think he did, therefore he did.
Executed as an example.
The Oromo Liberation Front.
Formed in 1973. Promoting self-determination in the Oromia region. Self-determination, defined as a country determining its own statehood. All they want is the freedom to choose their citizenship.
But the government calls them enemies. He's a murderer? No, he's the enemy. These OLF members are terrorists. This is not political. It is the truth. Emmanuel was not a suspect. He was the enemy. An OLF Sheen member.
I am a member of Avatar B. Don't do what I did. Learn from me.
I said it.
I was forced to.
I convicted myself.
I was forced to.
I had a handgun tied around my neck.
I was shackled to a fence. I got
maimed, mangled, murdered.
I wasn't alone.
Every person is given rights simply by being human, yet some are depriving us of these rights, depriving us of our necessities, dehumanizing us for the fun of it.
The right to a trial is one given to us for being human, yet some are not granted it, some are stripped of it.
Emmanuel did not receive his fair trial.
He didn't get to explain his side of the story.
Not because of his ethnicity or gender,
but simply because he was already guilty in the eyes of his tormentors.
Oromia security forces detained over a dozen of Emmanuel's close friends and family.
We see betrayal. We hear screams of protest and wails of pain.
We taste blood.
They were sent to detention camps. We were separated. We were kidnapped.
We were somehow
guilty. What was meant to be short has turned to internment.
All because they're mourning his loss.
The loss of my son. The loss of my friend.
The loss of our community.
A resident once said, the case of Emmanuel and his family is not unique. We are getting used to these killings.
Why is this issue so prevalent that the people have grown accustomed?
No one feels justice.
Betrayal hangs in the air. We're always innocent till proven guilty.
We're always guilty till proven innocent.
Allegedly, he shot a contractor, they said. Guilty, they yelled, not even giving him a chance towards amnesty.
Murdered.
Allegedly.
Guilty.
You knew him?
Guilty.
Murdered.
Allegedly.
Killed publicly.
You knew him?
Incarcerated.
How do we solve an issue ignored?
How to fix a problem with no seeable solution. We need equality.
We need to enforce these rights. These rights we were given.
We need to stop these biases.
Ethiopia signed the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. They signed December 10th, 1948. Why? Why is this still an issue?
We are human.
We deserve equity.
Wow, another fantastic performance by our Rickies. What a unique perspective. There's truly nothing like these poems.
Nothing? As in the 10-inch bundt cakes from Nothing Bundt Cakes available at our silent auction?
Sure, yeah. Anyway, please welcome our next performance, Your War, My Life, by Samia, Ginny, and Lucas.
I live in the land of South Sudan. Life here may be difficult. We're always hungry, always thirsty, but I'm happy. My family is near me. My children, my husband, they are happy. I am happy as I'm surrounded by those I love, with warm smells fluttering around my house and sounds of laughter all around. I feel warm, I feel loved, I feel alive, and then, suddenly,
BAM! They burst in the door, shot my mother, killed my father, and took me and my brothers and sisters, along with 19,000 other children, to fight in their wretched war. Boom! Bullets whistle past me. I keep going because there is nothing else to do. Shackled to this battlefield against my will, but nothing can be done now. Crash! A grenade sends a tree falling down on top of me. A branch splits my leg open. Blood is pouring. Darkness. All I see is darkness.
Taken in the night, screaming, as my brothers and sisters were shot trying to hide. All
dead.
All gone. A strange man took me and hurt me, abused me, and raped me. I was a slave in a camp, trafficked for the soldiers.
Bitten, burned, and broken, shared among the soldiers, beaten with sticks.
Others who resisted rape were shot, like 1,300 other women. I'm Yard, 15 years old. I was happy. I was whole. Now I'm scared and ruined. I had a life, a family. Now, nothing. I'm used. I'm beaten. Nothing but a toy for the killers. A bride for a bribe. All humanity was lost when the strife started. All humanity was lost when I was violated.
All humanity was lost. I am Agustino Ting Mai. I have a life, a family, a mother, a father, friends, and sisters. But now I have nothing. Nothing but guilt and a gun. It was all taken. Hope.
Taken.
Joy.
Taken.
Love.
Taken.
Life.
Taken.
I was Agustino Ting Mai, but now I am nothing.
I'm Maria Lacombe, and I am a mother of 5. And those 5 are the pieces of my soul. For those 5 I will fight, from heaven to hell and back.
Again and again.
They can take me, but not my children.
Not
now,
not ever,
not even over
My dead body.
But they did. 19,000 of us were taken. Hundreds of us are being taken every day from our homes and schools and right in front of our mothers and fathers and brothers and sisters. We became chattels for the soldiers, ripped from our families and the lives we once knew.
And no one understands.
No one.
Bats an eye.
No one.
does anything to help us.
No one.
lifts their voice to call for reform.
No one.
wants to do something that doesn't help them. They want comfort,
But we want life.
We don't want to die anymore. We don't need any restitution.
We just want to live. Tell your authoritarian regime to abolish this practice, to spare us, to take us out of this wretched war.
To let us live. We want to be students again. We want to have this chance to be something great again.
But not if we die. Not if we don't stop fighting your war for you.
An epidemic of dehumanization.
No equity found.
With involuntary bloodshed of humans by other humans.
Beating the innocence and life out of us.
Stealing our water, food, homes, and lives. No hope, joy, or love left for us.
Just the empty shells of the people we were.
Wow, Hadley. Last intermission, I saw some pretty cool things at the auction, like handmade pottery, painted pieces, and books. I think I'll be bidding pretty soon.
Oh, please, with my money, because you literally cannot afford anything.
Maybe I'll just spend your money on important things like this next act. Now up, we have 216 Prisoners by Yash, Aiden, and Jack.
Cases of captured prisoners of war.
Shackles surround their hands. Blood-curdling screams echo throughout the cells.
Withered men and women.
The ones who've been beaten,
starved, and electrocuted every day.
with hopes of getting out one day, barely keeping them alive. 44 of the 216 were sent back.
Lucky to be saved, lucky to see their families again.
They cried instead of being happy.
Because the others were left behind to suffer an internment. The Nagorno-Karabakh conflict.
A conflict going on since 1988.
Lasting till now.
Conflict over a piece of land.
Once held by ethnic Armenians.
Now a dispute between two countries.
Azerbaijan hails victory in 2020.
Throwing their victory in air.
Changing the tides of the war.
They captured Armenian soldiers.
Keeping them imprisoned.
Like a lion hunting on prey in an enclosed room.
They forced them to make a video.
Claiming that the Nagorno-Karabakh territory belonged to Azerbaijan.
I am Hov Hannes, age 45. I'm an Armenian soldier, captured by the Azerbaijani forces. Forced to survive, forced to perform for this supremacy, beaten by the retentionists for a performance, forced to lie down, beaten if I move. No food, no sleep, no freedom.
I am Levon, age 31. I'm an Armenian soldier taken and locked away in the cell. Even with my plight, they did not stop beating me, pushing, kicking, punching, beaten till I was black and blue. They retaliated against me. They blamed me for killing 32 Azerbaijanis in an airstrike that happened when I was 2.
I am Tigran, age 20. I'm an Armenian soldier, forced to stand up when I am dragged to a cell, forced to stand up when I'm beaten to the floor, forced to stand up when I am punctured through my body with metal pipes like Swiss cheese. I am watching as my fellow soldiers have to dig their own graves with a spade in hand. Tortured, maimed, persecuted, beaten without mercy, metal pipes, wooden spears, booted feet, breaking bones, breaking spirit, breaking hope.
We were part of the lucky 44.
Lucky to be free once more.
But not for long, as we must speak out.
Against a tyrant government.
Abusing our human rights.
Dehumanizing us.
Treating us with inequality.
Thwarting our freedom.
Our health.
Our life.
Another great performance of poetry. Don't you remember eagerly waiting to see if your poem was going to be selected to perform?
Of course I do. The nail-biting moments of finding out if your poem was selected linger in my mind. It's like opening college acceptance letters.
Sabrina, let's please keep our metaphors in reality. Moving on from whatever is in your mind, please let's welcome our next act, Laya Isabella Isara, with this piece, Land of the Free.
Land of the free, home of the brave, yet colonization has led to her ethnic cleansing, decades of genocide. Tyranny reigns among a place she once called home. Suns used to shine, now filled with muddy rain. Stigmas and stereotypes set in place, dehumanizing her. Savages, they call her, savages.
Eyes once filled with life, now devoid of it. Her entire being reduced to a single photo. But would it be the same for a white man? Is she less worthy of a resolved case? The blue won't back her up. In a country where she is meant to be free, in a country she is native to, she is silenced. Large bloody handprints covering their mouths, begging for them to finally be free, begging them to safety. Victims of femicide, persecuted for their culture, murdered for their race. All they wanted was to live, and we have deprived them of that right.
In 71 selected urban cities within the land of free, 98 cases were unknown status, 128 cases were indigenous women who were missing, 280 cases of indigenous women were murdered.
In 2016 alone reported 5,712 cases of stolen sisters. Only 2% were reported to the Department of Justice. No longer will she taste fresh air, her sisters reduced to ash in the mud. But this is the land of the free. Our sisters, our blood. We cannot be silent. We must speak for those who cannot. Their deaths are not political.
My name was Dawn Michelle Nakedhead, an epithet for the daybreak I will never see again. I was last seen at a payphone in Fort Gibson, Oklahoma on October 19th, 1991. I was not deemed worthy of a resolved case. My middle name and height were inconsistent on every single file. Any evidence of my humanity was stomped out. All part of me will be forgotten. I was a student, I was a sister, I was a person, and I will be 16 forever. 32 years, 11,680 days.
My name is Emily Morgan. I'm 23 years old, a mother. I loved living in my home of Oklahoma. I loved playing softball. I was an athlete. I was a proud member of the Choctaw tribe. I never settled for second best. My son was my best friend, but as he grows up, I will remain 23. As I lay there, crimson blood dirtying my face, it was as if the birds had ceased to chirp. I will never be a TV star. I will never see my son graduate. 2016, 7 years, 2,555 days. In all this time, no one has put in any effort to find my killer. But why? Why in all this time has justice not been served? When will justice be served?
My name was Mavis Nelson. I was 56 years old. I was a sister, a daughter, a mother. Thick brown hair that lit up in the moonlight and warm olive skin. Proud of my Yakima heritage, the very thing that got me killed. No longer can I sing or share my beloved home, the bustling streets of Seattle in 2022. I lay nearly dismembered, moments away from the University of Washington in the crisp air of June. When I died, it was as if the leaves on the trees ceased to rustle. I will not show up to work tomorrow. I will not see my sister nor my son. 1 year ago, 365 days ago. But I am one of the lucky few to have someone speak up for me, so why are my sisters being silenced? We must speak those who cannot, so their voices will not be forgotten. Find justice for these women,
So others are not slaughtered like they were.
They deserve life. Your bias should not decide their fate. They deserve life. She is shackled underneath desecrated land. They deserve life.
How can you stay quiet when indigenous women are being struck down?
They deserve life. You claim to be patriotic and fight for equality, but when it comes to her sisters, she no longer matters. They deserve life. We speak for the free until it's taboo to speak her name.
The rivers, the lakes, the grass will remember her in vain.
And the land of the free feigns ignorance. Thank you.
Truly incredible work from that group. Say, Sabrina, do you remember when we helped out with the bake sale last year?
There was chocolate everywhere. And places chocolate. It was delicious though. You guys should try some out.
I'm sure they will. You guys should try some too. Now moving on to Nigeria, we have Chloe, Ethan, and Ruth with 4770.
Over 4,770 children have died in the Columbia Wayuu Indigenous Group in the past 8 years. That is 4,770 who didn't have access to enough food or water, some being newborns and toddlers, all of them children, all of them human. Yet the dehumanization of these people continues.
Suffering in the hot summer heat, the tyranny of the blinding sun looks down on them. With no water, no food, no access to basic human needs, hungry and thirsty. The death rate for these children is nearly 6 times the national average.
The cries and wails of a mother echo through your head. Her child is laying still in her arms. A child born into a world where she didn't have a chance, who was forsaken by the world that should have cherished her. Maria Clara Palmar Fernandez holds her 15-month-old daughter in her arms.
Maria sobs, praying her child wake up, wishing the permanence of death would not have taken her only daughter. hoping for just one more chance to hold her daughter again, to finally be able to give her the food and water she so desperately needed and died waiting for. She would have given Yamale the world if only she had the chance, if only she had the same freedom and equity as many others. There are more than 4,770 mothers and fathers who have had to endure the same torture.
The inequality and lack of concern is exterminating the Wayuu indigenous group. The planet continues increasing in temperature like it has for decades and like it will for decades to come. Climate change is out of our control. It has created situations similar to the Wayuu indigenous groups all over the world. Places once where crops would flourish are now dry and incapable of supporting plant growth. Places once full of life are now barren. Yet the plight they are facing is being ignored because of their indigenous ethnicity.
We cannot fix climate change any longer, but we can protect the people it's destroying. More people become part of the 4,770 every year. More people can provide food and water for their children or homes to shield them from the weather. No matter the race, they deserve ethnicity and protection from the weather that continues to increase in temperature. I am Maria Clara Palmar Fernandez.
I am Yamale, who Maria cannot provide for.
I am the 4,770 children who suffered and died by the hand of climate change. We will not be ignored any longer.
It seems we made a bit of a mistake. That poem was by Ruth, Sophia, and Zach. It was a wonderful poem, but you know what else is wonderful, Hadley?
Our bake sale and some delicious treats that anyone can enjoy. Our silent auction with great gifts for the holidays.
Well, I was going to say your wallet, but we can put it to use there. Make sure to visit the auction in the bake sale before it ends tonight during this intermission.
Yes, we are going on intermission very soon, but first we have Miss Beatty announcing the Poetry Out Loud competition winners.
All right, I know we've all been waiting to see who's going to be our state representative for New Tech High Coppell for the Poetry Out Loud national competition. Again, I just want to congratulate our 3 finalists. They presented with all of the other seniors, and they were our best performers with their recitations. But with all of that being said, it's time to announce our state representative. So can I get a nice round of applause, please? And our winner is Lily Hess. All right, we all need to wish Lily the best of luck at state, and hopefully she can move it on to nationals.
Now it's time for our 20-minute intermission. Remember, this is when the silent auction will close, so make sure to get your bids in.
Swimming for a Cause was a cross-curricular project between English and geography where we tackled geographic or global topics about inequality or unjust situations through poetry and competed with each other to present them at a community event.
I learned a lot about public speaking and also outreaching and networking to other people. And I learned a lot about collaboration since this was one of our first major projects that we did.
As a group, we kind of talked about things that were important to us, or causes, places that we wanted to research, things that we knew we would be able to write a good slam poem about because we were passionate about those things. And then as a group, we decided on like a certain topic, and then we got to research that with links and resources that were provided by Ms. Boyd.
It's been about 10 years or so. We've been doing it for quite a long time. When it first started back in the day, our first year we had joined with a junior level U.S. history class, and they had a spoken word project that they were doing with a spoken word slam poet. And we wanted to join in on that project because we saw how dynamic and engaging the project was. And so with that, we just kind of evolved from that. And as those facilitators left our school, we kept the project alive and we turned it into something very unique for our rookies.
The beauty of this event is that so many people get an opportunity to contribute in different ways, right? If you're a baker, you can help with the bake sale. Some people are really good at talking to companies and strangers, so they'll be really good in selling or getting donations. Somebody's really good in design, so they'll really be helpful and instrumental in doing the flyers, the tickets, the t-shirts. So there's lots of different ways for kids to participate. So hopefully you would have seen the poster or a message or receive an email or have someone try to sell you a ticket if you're an audience member. And that doesn't just have to be in Coppell, right? They could be people who come from the nonprofit organization. Joaquin Zihuatanejo has actually attended, board members have attended, lots of people have attended, educators from other schools so they could see what it's like. A lot more than family, and we're talking over 200 people come per night.
When you're a freshman and you're coming into high school, things are already hard enough, right? And trying to find your place in your space is sometimes not the easiest thing to do. And for rookies, we really see that they learn their voice and they build some confidence through this project. And speak in front of a crowd of 300 or 400 people is something that adults can't do very well. But our learners learn how to do that.
I see some of the people who are so quiet at the beginning of the year, and then with this Slamming for a Cause project, they just open up. I don't think we could do Slamming for a Cause without Joaquin Zihuatanejo. Or if we did, we would have a little bit more work to do. He is so passionate. He's so inspiring. He really knows his stuff. I mean, he has a master's in fine arts of just writing poetry. He was a teacher, so he also knows how to work with youth. And he has a way of really connecting with the kids to make them feel comfortable and appreciated in their first writing attempts of their drafts, right? But also he inspires them to go further and to really continue to return to their work, make it better, do bigger gestures, really connect with the audience. So he has been invaluable to the whole process.
Last year, the defensive line was the charity that the learners selected, and it was a local community charity that focused on the efforts to educate teachers and counselors and students about the prevention of suicide. And so the Thomas family was a local family here in Coppell, and the learners, they voted on which charity they wanted, and that was the one that was overwhelmingly the one that got the most votes. So we're really proud to be able to support community initiatives here locally, and last year was a great example of that for the 22-23 school year for Slamming for a Cause.
Slamming for a Cause was a cross-curricular project between English and geography where we tackled geographic or global topics about inequality or unjust situations through poetry and competed with each other to present them at a community event. I learned a lot about public speaking and also outreaching and networking to other people. And I learned a lot about collaboration since this was one of our first major projects that we did.
As a group, we kind of talked about things that were important to us, or causes, places that we wanted to research, things that we knew we would be able to write a good slam poem about because we were passionate about those things. And then as a group, we decided on like a certain topic, and then we got to research that with links and resources that were provided by Ms. Boyd.
It's been about 10 years or so. We've been doing it for quite a long time. When it first started back in the day, our first year we had joined with a junior level U.S. history class, and they had a spoken word project that they were doing with a spoken word slam poet. And we wanted to join in on that project because we saw how dynamic and engaging the project was. And so with that, we just kind of evolved from that. And as those facilitators left our school, we kept the project alive and we turned it into something very unique for our rookies.
The beauty of this event is that so many people get an opportunity to contribute in different ways, right? If you're a baker, you can help with the bake sale. Some people are really good at talking to companies and strangers, so they'll be really good in selling or getting donations. Somebody's really good in design, so they'll really be helpful and instrumental in doing the flyers, the tickets, the t-shirts. So there's lots of different ways for kids to participate. So hopefully you would have seen the poster or a message or receive an email or have someone try to sell you a ticket if you're an audience member. And that doesn't just have to be in Coppell, right? They could be people who come from the nonprofit organization. Joaquin Zihuatanejo has actually attended, board members have attended, lots of people have attended, educators from other schools so they could see what it's like, and a lot more than family. And we're talking over 200 people come per night.
When you're a freshman and you're coming into high school, things are already hard enough, right? And trying to find your place in your space is sometimes not the easiest thing to do. And for rookies, we really see that they learn their voice and they build some confidence through this project. And speak in front of a crowd of 300 or 400 people is something that adults can't do very well. But our learners learn how to do that.
I see some of the people who are so quiet at the beginning of the year, and then with this Slamming for a Cause project, they just open up. I don't think we could do Slamming for a Cause without Joaquin Zihuatanejo. Or if we did, we would have a little bit more work to do. He is so passionate. He's so inspiring. He really knows his stuff. I mean, he has a master's in fine arts of just writing poetry. He was a teacher, so he also knows how to work with youth. And he has a way of really connecting with the kids to make them feel comfortable and appreciated in their first writing attempts of their drafts, right? But also he inspires them to go further and to really continue to return to their work, make it better, do bigger gestures, really connect with the audience. So he has been invaluable to the whole process.
Last year, the defensive line was the charity that the learners selected, and it was a local community charity that focused on the efforts to educate teachers and counselors and students about the prevention of suicide. And so the Thomas family was a local family here in Coppell, and the learners, they voted on which charity they wanted, and that was the one that was overwhelmingly the one that got the most votes. So we're really proud to be able to support community initiatives here locally, and last year was a great example of that for the 22-23 school year for Slamming for a Cause.
for a Cause was a cross-curricular project between English and geography where we tackled geographic or global topics about inequality or unjust situations through poetry and competed with each other to present them at a community event.
I learned a lot about public speaking and also outreaching and networking to other people. And I learned a lot about collaboration since this was one of our first major projects that we did.
As a group, we kind of talked about things that were important to us, or causes, places that we wanted to research, things that we knew we would be able to write a good slam poem about because we were passionate about those things. And then as a group, we decided on like a certain topic, and then we got to research that with links and resources that were provided by Ms. Boyd.
It's been about 10 years or so. We've been doing it for quite a long time. When it first started back in the day, our first year we had joined with a junior level U.S. history class, and they had a spoken word project that they were doing with a spoken word slam poet. And we wanted to join in on that project because we saw how dynamic and engaging the project was. And so with that, we just kind of evolved from that. And as those facilitators left our school, we kept the project alive and we turned it into something very unique for our rookies.
The beauty of this event is that so many people get an opportunity to contribute in different ways, right? If you're a baker, you can help with the bake sale. Some people are really good at talking to companies and strangers, so they'll be really good in selling or getting donations. Somebody's really good in design, so they'll really be helpful and instrumental in doing the flyers, the tickets, the t-shirts. So there's lots of different ways for kids to participate. So hopefully you would have seen the poster or a message or receive an email or have someone try to sell you a ticket if you're an audience member. And that doesn't just have to be in Coppell, right? They could be people who come from the nonprofit organization. Joaquin Zihuatanejo has actually attended, board members have attended, lots of people have attended, educators from other schools so they could see what it's like. And a lot more than family, and we're talking over 200 people come per night.
When you're a freshman and you're coming into high school, things are already hard enough, right? And trying to find your place in your space is sometimes not the easiest thing to do. And for rookies, we really see that they learn their voice and they build some confidence through this project. And speak in front of a crowd of 300 or 400 people is something that adults can't do very well. But our learners learn how to do that.
I see some of the people who are so quiet at the beginning of the year, and then with this Slamming for a Cause project, they just open up. I don't think we could do Slamming for a Cause without Joaquin Zihuatanejo. Or if we did, we would have a little bit more work to do. He is so passionate. He's so inspiring. He really knows his stuff. I mean, he has a master's in fine arts of just writing poetry. He was a teacher, so he also knows how to work with youth. And he has a way of really connecting with the kids to make them feel comfortable and appreciated in their first writing attempts of their drafts, right? But also he inspires them to go further and to really continue to return to their work, make it better, do bigger gestures, really connect with the audience. So he has been invaluable to the whole process.
Last year, the defensive line was the charity that the learners selected, and it was a local community charity that focused on the efforts to educate teachers and counselors and students about the prevention of suicide. And so the Thomas family was a local family here in Coppell, and the learners, they voted on which charity they wanted, and that was the one that was overwhelmingly the one that got the most votes. So we're really proud to be able to support community initiatives here locally, and last year was a great example of that for the 22-23 school year for Slamming for a Cause.
for a Cause was a cross-curricular project between English and geography where we tackled geographic or global topics about inequality or unjust situations through poetry and competed with each other to present them at a community event.
I learned a lot about public speaking and also outreaching and networking to other people. And I learned a lot about collaboration since this was one of our first major projects that we did.
As a group, we kind of talked about things that were important to us, or causes, places that we wanted to research, things that we knew we would be able to write a good slam poem about because we were passionate about those things. And then as a group, we decided on like a certain topic, and then we got to research that with links and resources that were provided by Ms. Boyd.
It's been about 10 years or so. We've been doing it for quite a long time. When it first started back in the day, our first year we had joined with a junior level U.S. history class, and they had a spoken word project that they were doing with a spoken word slam poet. And we wanted to join in on that project because we saw how dynamic and engaging the project was. And so with that, we just kind of evolved from that. And as those facilitators left our school, we kept the project alive and we turned it into something very unique for our rookies.
The beauty of this event is that so many people get an opportunity to contribute in different ways, right? If you're a baker, you can help with the bake sale. Some people are really good at talking to companies and strangers, so they'll be really good in selling or getting donations. Somebody's really good in design, so they'll really be helpful and instrumental in doing the flyers, the tickets, the t-shirts. So there's lots of different ways for kids to participate. So hopefully you would have seen the poster or...
Please take your seat and we will begin shortly.
Welcome back, everyone. We all hope you had fun checking out the bake sale and the silent auction. We hope you made any final bids that you needed to for the silent auction. I myself was eyeing some of those items and they looked really, really good. So we hope you guys enjoy just that whole experience.
You were so right, Jackson. I mean, did you see that amazing assortment of plants provided by our one and only Grow Club?
Grow Club? If only the best club in the history of New Tech. And sure, we are from Grow Club, but that doesn't really change anything. But speaking of growing, I hope everyone else here has noticed how well, or as well as me, about how well these rookies have been doing and how much they've been growing this year. I can't wait to see how much they grow and improve over the future years at New Tech.
I couldn't have said it any better, Jackson, but we really shouldn't hold on any longer. I know those rookies are just itching to get up here and give us their poem performances. So let's give a round of applause for our next poem, No Place Like Home, Iran's Human Rights Violations by Anaya, Akira, and Araline.
There's no place like home, they say. There's a garden outside my home. The tulips bloom in spring, painting the streets with red and pink. In my home of Iran.
There's no place like home, they say. I want to go outside today. My mother is furious. She says,
No! They're outside.
She says,
They're waiting.
She says, I stay inside, in my home of Iran.
There's no place like home, they say. There's hounds outside my home. Soldiers come in the spring, in fall, in winter, and summer too.
In my home of Iran. There's no place like home, they say, but in my home, police force their way in. They creep through the shadows. Political minions, they prey on the young, too small to defend themselves. The happiness once shining bright in their eyes is nothing more than a memory.
Their cruel smiles glinting in the dark as I stomp out any hint of defiance, any hope for equality. All the beautiful, vibrant colors of my country shadowed by the ugly. In my home of Iran.
60 children dead at the hands of unlawful lethal forces. Children as young as 9 have been victims of horrific acts of torture, beatings, floggings, rapings.
Locked in cold cages.
Needles under my nails. No one raised a hand to stop it. In my home of Iran.
There's no place like home, they say, but in my home, persecution lurks outside every door, in every place. I walk to school, my eyes fixed on the rocky, dirt-covered path. I don't dare look up, not even when I hear the gut-wrenching sobs, the familiar screams.
I don't dare look up, in fear that they'll catch me, beat me, shackle me. They'll drag me away to become one of the forgotten. I won't go home. I take in the heavenly city around me, and I wonder, how can something so beautiful be so horrible at the same time? I dream of equity. I dream that one day all this abuse will be abolished, where innocent children aren't tortured, maimed, killed. The seasons change. Nothing else does. In my home of Iran.
My name is Kian Parfalak. I was sitting in the car with my father, his hands on the wheel, eyes on the road. One moment we were talking, laughing, smiling. Then,
bang, bang, bang!
And it was over. They say it was terrorists. They say that they're innocent. They, security forces, deny responsibility. Their inhumanity caused my death. I was 9 on November 15th, 2022, and I will stay 9 forever.
My name is Asra Panahi. I was beaten because I refused to sing an anthem praising the supreme leader. My high school raided. My feeling of humanity shattered when they beat me to death. Officials still plead innocent. They say it was a heart problem. They say they would never harm the young. Their ignorance caused my death. I was 15 on October 12th, 2022, and I will stay 15 forever. My name is Parmiz Hamnava. I was at school one day, reading a textbook with blind eyes. A paper man stared back at me, and my blood began to boil. I ripped his face from the pages, tearing away his existence. He sent his soldiers, and they came to my school, violated my body as an example to the rest. Their sadism caused my death. I was 14 on October 25th, 2022, and I will stay 14 forever. Fighting back symbolizes hope, so we must take charge. We must act. The people fear this corrupt world. Scared to stand up, scared to protest, scared to bring light to shine upon the darkness.
We must make it known that children, innocent children, are dying at the hands of the people who are supposed to protect us. We must fight.
For them, for us, in my home of Iran.
What an incredible performance by our rookies. I think something we can really take away from that performance right there was to always, always hold our human rights at a higher value.
I definitely agree with you, Jace. We should always maintain our human rights, especially in the darkest of moments. Now let's see what amazing poem will strike our heart next. Please welcome Clean Slate by Ethiopian Ethnic Cleansing by Nivedita, Vivian, Matthias, and Yashvi.
Gunshot sounds. Get out, they say, we run. Away, away from our lands. Get out, the Amhara say, trampling over carcasses of the 18,000 dead. Reset.
I am Tigrayan. I live in western Tigray, arable lands, fertile districts, near Adigashu in Ethiopia. I was born into a loving family and a world of strife. We pray at our sacred church, St. Myrna Psalm, united against our humility and ethnicity, assimilation, a lost cause. Reset.
I am Tigrayan. One day my father tells us to come inside. Cousin Goitam is called, now a refugee. He saw them, local militias that screamed in Amharic as they executed the Tigrayans, just a part of the 18,451 members of our ethnicity killed. The Tigrayans of Adigashu.
Shackled, stripped, dehumanized, objectified, pleasures of the cursed mind for children, women, and men alike. Manuscripts and idols, books, museums, treasures, desecrated. 1,721 of our artifacts stolen. Reset.
They denied us rights, denied us equality, denied us a free world, denied us the freedom of our own minds. And then, they denied their accusations. The UN calls these crimes against humanity, ethnic cleansing, genocide. But still, we endure this extermination of our people today, and we still will tomorrow. Reset.
I am Tigrayan. My sister Sejanette was abducted a month ago. For rumors fly of girls that are lost, repeatedly raped, silenced. Because now it is not the question of if it happened, but rather, was it the Amhara or the Ethiopian National Defense? She will never come back, will she? Reset.
I am Tigrayan. Every day I hope for a better life. Balkanization runs strong. Persecution will never leave us. Yesterday, my friends were slaughtered, mere slabs of meat wrung of their blood, haunting Tigrayan history. Inequity is a boulder on my shoulders. This injustice cannot continue.
I am Tigrayan. I live in Mekelle, our capital. In the stone house, I tell my daughter to close her eyes. She deeply inhales, breathing in the earthiness of our home and the myrrh in our trees. I tell her to dream of a world where other countries understand our plight, a world with humanitarian aid and supplies, a world where our shadows remain our own.
Now, the lack of resources stings my nose. In just 20 years, Tigray has lost 250 hectares of tree cover. Yet, the last agricultural development policy was 30 years ago. Our irrigation systems are wrecked. Our water supplies are demolished. Our society gone.
Thousands of Tigrayans have been displaced. Thousands have been violated. The Amhara have done too much. Eritrean troops have done too much. We have suffered through too much.
Still, we fight. We raise awareness, reach out to those who can help, end this campaign of violence. Each reset bringing Tigray closer and closer to a clean slate.
Reset.
What a phenomenal message and what a phenomenal poem. These poems, Jace, they just can't be beat.
I agree, but on the other hand, I hope no one beats me in this silent auction. I'm loving the look of that one-night stay at the Gaylord. But before that, let's give a round of applause for our next poem, Victims of Violence, Haiti's Anarchy, by Sophie and Esther.
I am Sarah, a young Haitian woman. If it wasn't for God, they would have killed me. I was raped by 3 gangmen last July. My mother stood watching. My 2 children stood watching, silent in protest. All hoping for my deliverance, we were set free, but our house was in flames. Port-au-Prince controlled by gangs. They traffic, rape, kill, and burn for power. More than 2,000 are victims of violence. 11 million are captives in their own country. We cry, stop! We are lost to torture, the victims who have passed because of this cruel game, the victims who are birds in a rusted, rotten cage.
These are our people. I am Josephine, 29. I was stopped with my sister at the crossroads of death. G9 member put men in rows. One by one, they killed them all. Some with machetes, others with gunshots. The bodies were gathered and burned. Unlike the phoenix, they will not come back from relentless flames. Stuck in the cycle of death and strife, where's the help? Another gunshot rings through the air, broken families ducking, hoping they don't get hit. 247 women, 58 boys, and 20 girls lost in October of last year. More than 2,000 victims. These are our people.
Famine plagues our people, water dwindling in puddles of mud, food only being handed to those in power. Food is rare, clean water is rarer, starvation is imminent. Epidemics consume the population, innocent and guilty lives lost. These are our people. 19,000 in Port-au-Prince ID are skeletons from starvation. Gangs control the ports and the politics. Nothing coming in, nothing going out. No food, no water, no help, no hope.
These are our people. The smell of burning air fills the air like a poison that doesn't go away, a reminder of what's at the end of the violence. Where's the help? Like a toy thrown away and forgotten in ash, broken families, emptiness in homes. These are our people. Gangs take and take and take. They take all of it, drugs, illegal items, people, used and played with like they're useless, dehumanized and ragged, treated like chattel. They try to escape, but they're being held back. These are our people.
The tyrannical government says there are rights for our people. Why aren't they protected? Why am I not protected from torture? Why is my life threatened every day? Why can't I escape this rusted, rotten cage?
Aren't these your people?
My right to life, my right to freedom and safety. Am I truly free? Am I truly safe? I am not safe in my own home. Every day people are massacred. People aren't free to leave. Asylum isn't granted. These are our people. We are tormented and exploited, victimized and abused. Women and children, my sisters and mother are raped, maimed, and killed. The torture is endless. The protection is gone.
These are our people. My rights are shackled by those in power. In a country full of corrupt lawmakers and suffering people, how is it equitable for us to suffer while you simply watch? How are our rights protected if they aren't rights to be protected? Our lives are over before they've begun. These are our people. All we need is a safe place to live. Inequality courses through our country's veins. Our economy has been reduced to ashes. People living in streets, homes burned and swept away by natural disasters. They tell us, sink or swim. These are my people.
These are your people.
These are our people.
Wow, what an amazing performance. I just love the emotion they showed.
Exactly. I love the way they express themselves and express the message of the entire poem itself. Now, it's safe to say I will be extremely emotional if I don't win anything from the silent auction. I bet the whole $2 in my wallet on something out there. I don't remember what it was, but I bid on something. And I guarantee the next time I open my wallet, a fly is going to fly.
Well, in that case, I say we fly right into our next poem. Let's give a round of applause for Crossfire, Israel and Hamas Conflict in Gaza by Bilal, Leo, and Morgan.
October 7th, Hamas attack leaves 11,000 dead, headline reads. Terrorism is wrecking lives. Thousands have died caught in the crossfire between the Hamas and the Israeli government. The Israeli government advances towards Gaza, planning to flush out the terrorists. There have now been 10,000 airstrikes on Gaza in 2 months.
We are human, Israeli or Palestinian. Haven't we always been? But all of us caught in the crossfire aren't being treated as such. Our speech, our free will, have been minimized and dismissed. We no longer have rights that humans are promised to have. Are all innocent lives not equal?
3 million Palestinians live in the West Bank. 2 million Palestinians living in Gaza Strip, living in plight. Over 15,000 Palestinian lives have been taken away. 15,000 voices silenced. White phosphorus burning skin, falling rubble of our schools and hospitals, children succumbing to deadly diseases, and missiles leaving craters the size of entire homes. Over 25,000 injured and a number of them maimed. Children's minds filled with the horrors of what they must face. They can only pray for a better life. 3,700 children killed in just 25 days of fighting.
240 Israeli hostages have been held by Hamas fighters for weeks. 240 Israeli civilians of all ages bound in underground tunnels. Families of the hostages' hearts break in the shadows of uncertainty. They want clarity. They want their family members back. They decide to march from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. Each step a prayer, a plea for their loved ones to return home. Each day spent walking, a cry for the Israeli government's help and their family's safe return home. On a 5-day pilgrimage of despair, families marching yearn for equity when inequalities continue to unfold. Though hope remains. Hope families will be restored. Hope that justice will be restored.
Death is a shroud of darkness, blanketing the city, spreading sorrow like disease. Terror runs rampant, tearing through the streets, taking hold in people's minds. Dissent is common, but we can only pray for tomorrow.
In Gaza, where life is a constant fight, where civilians bear burdens, masses a weight that aren't their own, the reality paints a grim picture. Inequity has become an undeniable load, one that everyone has to carry. Many lives have turned to disarray. Yet, in the face of hardships' everlasting grasp, civilians will rise above, reclaiming their rights and reclaiming their lives.
My name is Bassam Aramin. I'm a Palestinian, deprived of my citizenship, caught in the crossfire. My daughter Abir was on her way home from school one day when she was mortally wounded from gunshots that were fired from a vehicle belonging to the Israeli border police. She was 10. I was at home when I got the news. On October 19th, the Israeli government struck the St. Porphyrius Greek Orthodox Church. 16 reported dead, killed while sheltering inside the church.
My name is Noam, a 17-year-old Israeli. My sister Alma and I were taken hostage by Hamas. During the 50 days we were held underground, we could only see through the lens of despair, though one thought kept us fighting, the thought of seeing our mother again.
My name is Alma. I'm a 13-year-old Israeli. On November 15th, my brother and I were finally released. Only we'd come home to the news our mother was dead. She had died on October 7th, the day that we were taken captive.
War is not the answer to these social and political injustices. Hundreds flee Gaza, but will we truly be able to return? Return to the mounds of rubble? Return with more loss than victory? Return to the cycle of war and poverty? Return without our brothers and sisters? Protest for humanitarian pause, protest for ceasefire. This conflict will not end until each side is recognized for international human rights crimes. For justice is blind and not heartless among all ethnicities.
Gaza, home to 2 million people compacted into 140 square miles of densely populated land.
Gaza, who survived the British occupation during World War I, where she was used as a defensive stronghold for Ottoman forces.
Gaza, battleground of the 1967 Six-Day War, the war that transformed Israel.
Gaza, bricks weathered with hundreds of years of history.
Part of a beautiful country balkanized and polarized among its ethnicities.
A place full of possibilities if only we stand for peace.
You know, Jackson, I really am impressed by the poems this year.
I'm right there with you, Jace. It's awesome to see what messages and stories are being told today.
Well, let's not waste any more time and get right into our last poem of the night. Please welcome Bang, U.S. Mass Shootings by Addison, Cole, Arjun, and London.
Gunshot heard around America.
In an elementary school in Texas.
In a grocery store in Buffalo, New York.
In a never-ending cycle.
I am Maya Serio, and I just wanted to learn with my friends at Robb Elementary. Before, I heard a lot of gunshots before an armed man walked into the classroom. I heard the gunman say, "Good night," before shooting a bullet straight through my teacher's head. I watched as the bullets killed many of my friends. He left the class within minutes, but I knew he'd come back. I looked at my dead friend and knew I only had one choice. Bang!
Anxiety is building up inside me, pacing back and forth across the room.
Why is my child not home yet?
Calling their phone, calling the school, calling everyone I know to get answers. I drive through the school, only to find a crowd of parents waiting for their children too.
Sirens!
I hear gunshots from within the school, and immediately my heart starts pounding. Officers tell us to stay calm, but they don't understand my plight. How can I possibly be calm when my child could be dead? Bang!
Why did the gunman have a gun? The law states that those who are incompetent must forfeit their guns regardless of their constitutional rights. How can government tell us that this shooter was competent when they chose to take the lives of others? Politicians say that guns are necessary to be safe, disregarding the views of the vox populi, hindering smart gun laws. That's like fighting fire with fire, and they won't let us put it out.
Bang! Rusting, worn grocery carts lay scattered. Rows of fresh fruit and vegetables line the aisles. A beacon of light. The Tops grocery store in Buffalo, New York, the only source of fresh food for an impoverished neighborhood. So that beacon was extinguished by a hail of bullets. Bang!
My shaky hands dipped into the pool of blood. Smearing it over myself, I felt like I was gonna vomit. I played dead like a dog and waited for what felt like hours. I survived, but at what cost? I am only 11 years old, 11, and can't hear a loud noise without screaming and crying. Even the protest and dissent over gun violence makes my body ache. My school is one of the 508 schools to have a shooting since 2021 in America. My friend was one of the 151 people to die from those shootings. Aren't I given the right to stay safe no matter where I live? I worry that I won't peacefully live my life without hearing another bang!
Doors open, children rushing out, whining to hug their parents, but not mine. I feel crushed, like the only thing in my life that made me happy is gone. Because they are. I'm April Elrod, and I'm one of many parents who have lost children to gun violence. We are hoping, pleading, begging for reprisals to the shooter. So far in 2023, we've had 565 mass shootings. The polarization of gun laws is so great that they still protect guns. Bang!
The right to bear arms cannot apply to those that desire to harm us. We have a right to live, and there's no amnesty to those that violate it. That child had the right to live. This is not a political issue. This is a matter of life and death. We need to push for smart gun laws that use biometrics, but our own leaders cut us off. 4.5 million children in the U.S. live in households with guns that are loaded and not properly secured. That is 4.5 million bangs!
I am Andre McNeil, and I died in the Top shooting in Buffalo, New York. My neighborhood was scarred, shackled, and broken beyond repair. My community was destroyed until we demanded retention, advocating for change, demanding justice for the deceased, begging for the right to live, asking the question, could this have been prevented? Asking the question, when will the gun epidemic be contained? Asking the question, when will the extermination of people not be a given in society? So far in the U.S., there have been 35,000 deaths due to gun violence in the year 2023 alone. 35,000 bangs!
The bald eagle is meant to symbolize freedom.
Freedom.
Is not taking lives.
Freedom.
Is not getting to do whatever you want with a weapon.
Freedom.
Is not keeping gun laws broad.
Our freedom isn't freedom, it's violence.
If no one acts to the violence, then America itself will go out in a
Bang, bang, bang!
Wow, what a fantastic poem.
Indeed, Hadley, what a great way to close out the night.
Do you know what else is a great way to close off the night? Treating yourself to a delectable treat from our bake sale.
You were so right, Jackson. But before that, one more word from our Children's Advocacy Center of North Texas.
I don't have any other words to say. The kids have been phenomenal. I make a living with words, and you guys blew me away. Please recognize them again. Another round of applause. What we do at the Children's Advocacy Center is help children and their families overcome what can be a horrible day, week, month, many years of their lives. And we recognize that we can't do it alone. There's 87 staff members across 4 buildings in 3 counties. And the only way we can do what we do is because of the community. And thank you all of you for choosing us as your charity of choice. Everything that you've done tonight, all of the research that you did, all of the being able to come up here and pour out your hearts and your knowledge of the events. I'm just absolutely amazed by you, and thank you very much. Thank you for everything that you've done for us at the Children's Advocacy Center, but for yourselves and for your families and for your school as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And again, all of the profits that are collected from tonight are going to the Children's Advocacy Center of North Texas.
At least my card's going into the negative for a good cause.
Speaking of money, make sure to check the papers around the room to see if you won any of the items that you bid on.
If you have, please head over to the table right outside to pay with cash or a check and make that out to CISD, please.
Well, you've all been here for a while, just like me. Thank you for joining us tonight and supporting our rookie class and learning about these world issues throughout their poems.
And another big round of applause for our rookies for putting together this wonderful event.
And thank you for coming out tonight for supporting this event. And as your 2023 MCs,
Jace,
Hadley,
Sabrina,
and Jackson signing off.
thank you.